Next big project. So because I'm on the well now, it's really time for me to crank up the water and get some of this ground cover dialed in. So you can see, I got the myoporum here spreading, and that's a really good slope type of a ground cover. I got some more flats. I just bought a total of 40 more flats. So that's kind of a lot of money. But I'm going to basically be working on this slope here, this slope here, this slope here, and then right in front of the new place. So because we have the well, I can say we have virtually unlimited water, but the fact of the matter is it costs money to pump that water. So I'm doing some experiments and I'm getting an idea on how much water I want to pump, and I'm basically going to commit to watering this area, that area, that area, that area very heavily for the next 12 months to get this stuff established. So right now is the time to get this stuff in. So you can see I got flats of iceplant. I'm kind of going with like a light pink to dark pink to purple, kind of ombre flow into different types of colors. It's going to turn out sweet. The cool thing with the flats is, I can break that up into 8 to 16 individual plugs in different spots, and then with the heavy watering, it'll really spread out. That side back there I'm gonna leave mostly natural. I don't want to leave this natural because the natural stuff gets kind of big and bushy and it looks a little messy. Like from a distance it looks great, but right up here it's not really what you want. So I'll be hooking these areas up. Right now I'm going to run over and I'm going to start there. Actually, I might want to start here. The reason I'm thinking here actually is that sun is strong on the south-facing slope, and I want to get these flats in the ground ASAP. But before I do, I'm going to come through and I'm going to weed whack any of the weeds that are unsightly or I don't really want. I've already got a lot of ice plant established here, but ice plant seems to like if you kind of weed whack the top of it and kind of bust it open a little bit, it reacts really well. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to yank out these little saplings that are trying to grow. And then when I get that, I'll punch in the flats, and then I'm going to water this 2 hours 3 times a week. So that's a lot of water. It's going to keep it nice and moist, and then I'm going to basically weed whack all that down over there. So just check back with you. So my tool of choice is actually a cordless, Ryobi cordless 40 volt. So I'm just going to come through, knock all this stuff down, do a little quick before video. See, the ice plant's doing well where I've kept it pretty wet in the shade. I did plant this with flats of ice plant when we were on the city water, but I kind of chickened out. We were getting $500 a month water bills, so I started backing off a little and putting water into the fruit trees. And like this area stayed decent. You can see there's some established myoporum. A lot of weeds I got to blast down because I've been ignoring all this for a while. But right here, it really dried out. So, I was doing about an hour twice a week, and now I'm bumping this up to 2 hours 3 times a week. Way more water, and I want to get this stuff established. And just my lesson from trying this, a couple times actually, is get the right type of ground cover for your area. Myoporum's big here. Ice plant does well. I'm also going to end up pulling ice plant that I've got down there that's doing really well, and I just want to fill this area in, and it's going to root up and stabilize it and make it look better. But the thing is, just be realistic, because I spent hundreds of dollars on ground cover, and I spent a few months of hundreds of dollars extra in water, and then it was just like, I can't do this for 2 years. So I lost a lot of my stuff. Kept some, lost too much. So you want to do you're doing a brand new slope that has nothing on it, you're gonna have to commit to however much water it's gonna take. And in the summers, at least here, it's gonna be a lot. And if you don't, you lose it all and start over. So that's a little before video. I'm gonna get busy here. Alright, so now as you can see, it kind of loses it in the distance, but I'm just digging little holes and plugging. I've done 4 or 5 flats so far. So I'm just doing them pretty small. You know, there's one. I'm doing the first several feet away from the wall, and that's going to kind of change color as it comes around the corner. And depending on how much I've got, I'm going to put some random patches throughout, and then I'm going to come in with the other type of ice plant that I have a larger amount of and have that fill the bigger spaces. There's some of that myoporum that took from last time. But here's a cool thing. Check this little surprise out. Not my hole. There's somebody down there. Big old toad in there. Crazy guys. I don't know if they dig the hole or they just move in. I'm gonna leave him alone. And I did remember as I'm walking through, this ground's a little unstable. I remembered one of the major problems I had a couple years ago was the gophers. So I'm gonna do the best I can, but in another couple weeks I'll have more time, and I'm just gonna be setting the gopher trap. Gopher, mole, vole, whatever it's doing these underground tunnels. I'm digging to plant stuff, and I'm finding, you know, already existing tunnels. So I'm not planting anything within the tunnel because they'll just boom, see it and come eat the roots. I did have that happen last time. This myoporum tends to be more pest resistant, and I think that's why it did a little better. So I got a little job ahead of me, but I like the colors that these will put out. So I'm gonna keep moving here. All right, ran out of time doing all that ice plant. So I still got the flats of myoporum here, but we got a big rainstorm coming in a couple days. So I'm gonna throw out this wildflower seed mix they call the Southwest Wildflower Mix from Outside Pride. Just gonna shoot it out by hand. I'm gonna put it on this slope here, that slope over there, probably a little bit around the pool slope. This is 5 pounds. This is like 100 something bucks. So I burned through like 35 flats already. Just got these separated and planted. Here's I extended this drip irrigation line. There's all the flats so far. But I think it's gonna look really good. I got kind of a different color of ice plant mixed in here, all the way down to that rock or so. And then and I just got the water running on that. We're gonna have 1.5 inches of rain in 2 days, you know, so that's gonna help get everything a good boost. And I plugged in a lot of ice plant here, the myoporum down there. Clean this stuff up. I kind of, on the upper row, I want to have a nice row of ice plant here, give it some color. And this is all that I've got left. So I guess actually I've burned through 37 flats. These 3 right here will make the 40. So the more you look, the more you see. Just myoporum plugged in. I don't know. I've put at least 100 flats of stuff on this place, which is pretty unbelievable. I figure each flat's probably at least 20 plants. So 2,000 plants I've probably planted. So over here, same on that slope. You can kind of tell it's got a ton of transplant ice plant over there. I had put a lot over there before, but like I said, I was using so much water I kind of chickened out. But now I'm gonna just blast this sucker, and so I do think I'll get everything to take pretty well. This I kept really wet, and that's why this myoporum that I planted I guess it's been over a year now, 1.5 years ago, has really spread. But I was doing, you know, several hours, probably 4 hours a week out here at least, and I'm gonna be doing about 8 hours a week now, so I really want to get this to fill in. So after a year, hopefully this stuff will be rooted deep enough where I can change over from 3 days a week, 2 hours a day or so that I got right now, to maybe like 2 week, or even ideally 1 day a week, 2 hours a day. Really get the soil deep, wet deeper, and get the roots to kind of chase the water downward. Then I can start putting water into whatever I'm doing here. For right now, this is all going to remain bare. Otherwise, that well pump will be running 24/7, and we'll be exceeding our solar production, which is fine. But that's going to mean, you know, back to $300, $400, $500 a month electric bills. Right now, I got a 0. So To be continued. Check it out. I decided to make good use of the big rainstorm we had. Ended up getting like 3 inches of rain. So right here I've had this ice plant grow, and it came from just one little patch over there, and I've been cutting it back and plugging it in. So I basically trim it along where it's creeping over the driveway and take those. Really just don't even spend a whole lot of time. I literally just cut them, dig a little bit, pop it in the ground, push the dirt over it, and walk away. It's a succulent, so it's, you know, not every single one of these cuttings will take, but they don't take a whole lot of effort. And this stuff here is actually irrigated, but over there I have it not even getting any irrigation, and just with the winter rains is enough to take it. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Did this whole slope. We'll go for a ride. Probably gonna get a little loud though. So like right here, I put this in like a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, as a little tiny cutting, and I literally have no irrigation going there, and it's spreading. So as far as options to just get a little more greenery, I think ice plant's a good option. It'd be cool to do grass, but it would be ridiculous amount of water and maintenance to do grass. So just to get the color, I'm trying the ice plant. I'm gonna run up, show all what I planted, and then I'm gonna idle back down and then turn over here. That's my hat. Got my hat back. I'll go neutral so it'll be quiet. So yeah, just a ton of excess cuttings. Just punching them in there. I mean, I literally spend 60 seconds per plant. Shovel, kick the shovel in the ground, stuff the ice plant in the ground, push the dirt over it, walk away. So this is stuff I plugged in. The really nice colored ice plants, stunning. I mean, right now it doesn't have a ton of flowers, pop pink, purple, all kinds of colors. The other stuff, that stuff clumps up. This bigger blade green stuff spreads. The flowers are not as pretty, but it spreads a lot, like a ground cover. You can see it wants to walk up the rock and stuff, which I think ends up looking really cool. So I punched a bunch in here, along here, as you can see. So in another year or so, I'll do a little follow-up video to see what took and what didn't. I did a little bit on this slope right here. And then the big part of what I did, I'll probably actually have to take a walk up there. Let's go. All right, like a little bit around the base of this rock right here. And then this slope has been very difficult. It's just so steep. I can't mow it. I just come weed whack it, and it turns into just weeds. And then I weed whack it again, and then I spray it with Roundup. So I'm thinking, it may take a couple years, but plugged in a bunch of ice plant on this part. Not down here, because I want to eventually do grapevines. But if this is way too steep for anything like grapes or any kind of fruit. So over here, this is ice plant I did like, I want to say 2 years ago. So you can see it's a little slow, but it does take. Put some in over here. This is all pretty bare. I put a different type of ice plant up there. See little plugs of it. It's the more nice colored one. Put a little bit around the base here, a little bit here, here. So I'm thinking if I can get to fill in like this, then I could put a rock border. But again, it's kind of an experiment. It's just like can't totally landscape and irrigate 5 acres practically at all, even with that size solar system. No way. And basically this well, as far as I can tell, is pretty much unlimited at 50 gallons a minute or so. But all right, let's keep riding. Like I was saying, all right, let's pause here for a minute. So this slope up here is irrigated. I got those sprinklers running several hours, 3 times a week, 2 hours, 3 times a week. So I put in some nicer colored, you know, the pink flowers, the purple flowers, ice plant, but very small. Some gazanias that have been in there for years that have, you know, struggled a little. But now I'm gonna keep this whole area wet. I wanna get this really, really just lush, clean green. But when I was digging up there, I hit a pipe, so I'm gonna fix the pipe. Always something. Dig that out. Same here. Nice ice plant. I mean, I think I did over 20 flats right here. So there's a lot of new planting there. I'll just show you what one looks like. Let's grab one real quick. So, like this. I mean, there's hundreds of these. You know, the more you look, the more you see. Oh, looks like that one might have got pulled out. No. Oh yeah, something tried to eat it. So some of them will be lost to gophers and whatnot. But they're everywhere. There's a ton of them. All the way over to there. And then I did a whole bunch of myoporum here. That's where we're going now. So I did do that seeding in here, but just the seeds. Leaving it kind of wild. And then here, you can see tons and tons and tons and tons of ice plant. That was from the flats. So this is all colorful pink and purple and dark pink. And that's a drip line. It's close enough. So like this, I even put some other like moisture additive amendment to the soil, because this definitely needs to be right on point. And then over here, and this is also irrigated by big sprayers. I went ahead and this ice plant was doing really good, and then it kind of got a little dried out, and I cheaped out on the water, city water. Now we're on the well, so I'm blasting it again. I put like a whole row of varying ice plant colors all on the top berm, and then all down there was myoporum that's spreading, and I added a bunch more. I think I did 10 flats of myoporum. Well, 10 flats total. I'm gonna say probably 8 of them were here, so you can see plugged in all over. That's about it for here. And the last thing I did is that hill over there. That's our last stop. That baby's pretty loaded. Kumquats. Lemons are coming in pretty good too. Almost there. Alright, so you really can't tell, but a ton of ice plant on this slope right there. But again, that's the one I'm going to keep really wet, irrigated. Hopefully they'll be flowering up soon. As for over here, also irrigated, but I don't need it to be quite as beautified. This is myoporum here, mature. Been in here for years. So I put in a whole bunch of those. Like I said, there's 10 flats of myoporum between that slope, this slope. And also I did the full Southwest seed mix. So we'll have some wildflowers coming in here. I've also got some gazanias on the slope here, and those are going to get a lot of extra water. And then there was rosemary planted when we moved, so over 4 years ago now. And I've done some cuttings, and I also put in a bunch more rosemary. But like this ice plant, for example, was here. And actually what I've been doing is I come through with the weed whacker and I just try to knock all these little deadhead flowers off, and it really helps it wake up some more. And I totally landscaped all this and all that. But here, and this is like partially just for my own reference, I put all these rosemary in as little as a flat. They were flats, and I punched a ton of them in. And these right here did pretty good because the sprayers hit them from here. So it seems to me like in this type of soil, which is really DG, like decomposed granite, it just takes an insane amount of water. I think I had this 3 hours a week, and I'm now going to be like at least 6 hours a week. So I'm thinking just with the extra water, and also now that I'm on the well and I do actually get more gallons per minute, when I'm spraying, it's moving more volume in that number of hours as well. It actually maintains a higher pressure. So I think just hitting this with a lot more water, and additionally, you know, I put in a lot of the myoporum cuttings. I'm just going to really try to keep this whole slope and all these other slopes I just did all the work on wet for, I'm going to say, like a year or maybe 2, and then I should be able to pull the water way back and move on to another area. But that's been my struggle here. Like everywhere I'll plant stuff and it'll be going really well, and then I'll realize I'm spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month, and I'll chicken out, and it'll just kind of stunt the growth. So we'll see how this goes. It's almost Christmas 2021. I'll do a follow-up in like a year.